Thank you, Presiding Officer. There's no doubt that within communities across Scotland, and we all know it, there are major challenges, there are major pressures. But I would like to focus today, looking at the First Minister's speech, on the positives where we can work together. Because there are, in this document and what's been put forward, a lot of positives where we should be able to work together and actually bring about improvement across Scotland. The Social Security Bill is one that we welcome. We will work with the Minister and with the Government, and putting at the heart of that bill dignity and respect is certainly something that we would want to do. This morning, I should be clear, however, that dignity and respect is something that every person in Scotland deserves. And this morning, I was on a picket line through in Dunfermline in Fife with Unison members at work in Fife College, and they clearly believe that dignity and respect and fair pay is something that they are being denied. So it is important, if we're going to make these claims about dignity and respect, that we ensure that we deliver that for everyone in Scotland. In terms of the bill itself, I would want to highlight housing as another area where, yes, and indeed our own manifesto put forward to build more houses, but we can work together to build houses, and we need to do so. Shelter Scotland yesterday launched a campaign far from fixed in terms of homelessness and rough sleeping in Scotland, and they say it's estimated that 5,000 people sleep rough over a year in Scotland, 30,000 households assessed as homeless last year. An unknown number are on sofa surfing, as it's been described. There are 10,000 households in Scotland living in temporary accommodation, and there are 5,000 children that wake up every morning in Scotland without a home to call their own. So that's why housing for me is a massive priority, and my issue with the Government is not the commitment to the 35,000 social rented houses, 50,000 affordable. My issue is how that's going to be delivered. And just as the Government have said that they will bring forward a detailed delivery plan in terms of how they will deliver their commitment in terms of superfast broadband, I do believe that we need to have a detailed delivery plan that sets out how we intend to build those houses moving forward. For the benefits of that are clear in terms of the numbers of homeless, etc., the numbers on council waiting lists. But to go to the point that Alec Neil made earlier about skills shortages, the apprenticeships and the jobs that can be created. So if you look at Fife Council as an example, Fife Council put in a programme of 2,700 houses over the last 5 years, which they've managed to deliver with the support, yes, of the Scottish Government, but also the support of tenants in raising the money. But the numbers, the apprenticeships and the number of jobs that have been created locally have been very impressive. We would also welcome the Child Poverty Bill, and again we'll want to work with the Government, but we are clear that what we need in Scotland is an anti-poverty strategy across all levels of government. The Roundtree Foundation report that has come out today, We Can Solve Poverty in the UK, we need to develop that strategy in Scotland to say we can solve poverty in Scotland. What that report makes clear is that in order to tackle poverty, you need to engage all levels of government. So in this place, the Scottish Government needs to be joined up because it runs across every portfolio of government. We need to involve local government so that that's joined up. We need to involve the dynamic third sector that we have in Scotland. But clearly, we also need to involve business and industry. And that's what comes across clear in this report today. So that I hope that, again, in welcoming the Child Poverty Bill, that we actually can pick up on the work that's been done in the Roundtree Foundation, which is more of a focus on England and Wales, and that we can develop a coherent anti-poverty strategy across Scotland that will allow us not just to talk about dealing with poverty, but actually getting on to deal with poverty. The Scottish Union Learning Fund is mentioned in here, and again, it is very welcome. But the key to the Scottish Union Learning Fund is for learners to be able to progress. And the cuts in part-time education in particular, for workers in particular, is a major block. The gaps in skills. And in my final minute, I would like to focus very briefly on local government. We know that local government have had a really tough settlement these last numbers of years. In every community, you can see those cuts biting in services and in community support and in local organisations. And the proposal that's in here, which is to take the £100 million and put it into the schools, in itself, it's a good proposal. Labour also said that we would raise money, we would put taxes up, and we would invest in public services by doing it that way. But what the government's basically doing is, rather than putting taxes up, you're now going to dip into local taxation, take that taxation and start spending it on your national priorities. As good as those national priorities are, that is an affront to local democracy and raising revenue at a local level, and it really is not the way to proceed to build strong relationships with local government. The point's been made by others in here. Decentralisation of powers and devolving of powers was not just about taking powers to Edinburgh, it was taking powers further down. We really need to stop pulling powers up the way. But I do hope that we can work together. There's a lot in this bill and these bills and in this speech that I think we can make Scotland a better place, and I look forward to working with the appropriate ministers.